Hello first graders, so good to see you. Today we're going to continue our learning about Hansel and Gretel and how they dropped stones along a path to mark which way to go. We're going to introduce counting by tens again, but also we're going to introduce a way of counting by fives. So those are our targets for today. Today you will need your workbook that looks like this. You need one pencil to go with it, and that's it. So pause the video right now and make sure you have your workbook handy for our learning. All right, today I'm going to start by showing you a path that Hansel and Gretel have been on. This is their path. Hansel and Gretel are over here. They're marking stones every 10 steps. Hansel says it's 10 steps from this pebble to the next one. But then Gretel said, there's no way to tell which way to go when you get to the fork in the path. How will people know to go up this way instead of going this way? Because friends, if you're right here, you might not be able to see the next pebble way over here. So Hansel says, that's a problem. What do you think we should do? Friends, I want you to think for just a moment. What would you do if you were Hansel and Gretel and you had this great plan of laying a pebble and then walking 10 feet, but then you came to a part in the road where you couldn't see your next pebble? What would you do? Well, Hansel and Gretel, they had a good idea. They decided that they were going to mark part of their path with pine cones. So here they started with 10, and then 5 more steps brings them to 15. Because they are placing pine cones in between all of their pebbles, they can see where they are going more clearly. Hansel and Gretel decided to take care of their problem by making the 5th step between every 2 pebbles with a pine cone. Here's a section of the path marked with pebbles and pine cones. We're going to use the clues to figure out the number of steps it takes to get each of the pine cones or pebbles marked with an empty box. So we're going to be filling in 3 empty boxes. I'm doing this. You are not in your workbook yet. You are just watching. You can help me count. 10, 15. The next number would be 20. 25, 30, 35, 40. This would have to be 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. I do want you to notice, friends, that every time there's a pebble, we're counting by tens. So this would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And every time we see a pine cone, it ends with a 5. All right, nice job. I do want you to grab your workbook next. I'll give you a minute to pause the video and get organized. All right, friends, in your workbook today, we are finding page 56. If you need more time to find page 56, pause the video. It's labeled More Pebbles and Pine Cones. Make sure you have your pencil in your hand. You're going to be doing the same work as Mrs. Gustafson. I see 0, 5, 10, 15. Ooh, that must make this one 20. Then 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. If you need to pause the video for a minute, go ahead and do that. All right, go ahead and try the next one. I noticed it starts with 35, but there's a missing pebble right here. I might skip that one to start with, because it's much easier to count on than count backwards. So I'm going to start right here. 35, 40, 45. Go ahead and fill in the rest on your own. Pause the video if you need more time. Check your work. 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. But now I have this one at the beginning. That's a tricky one. I have to count backwards by 5. I know that 5 less than 35 is 30. If I wanted to check my work, I could practice counting this whole sequence just to make sure I got it right. Practice counting with me now. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. Nice job. Try to complete the next one on your own. They give you the starting number. Go ahead and pause the video. Press play when you're ready to continue. All right, we're at 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115. I want you to look carefully for a minute. Notice that all of the pebbles are decade numbers, meaning they are ending with a 0 each and every time. Notice that all the pine cones always end with a 5. All right, this next section, I want you to try it on your own. It says start with 10. You're going to count by 5s. So you're going to add in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Go ahead and do that now. Pause the video if you need more time. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The next one asks you to start with 35. Go ahead and fill it in. Pause the video if you need more time. Starting with 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Ooh, this time we have to start with a bigger number. It's the number 65. We're still counting by 5s. Why don't you do both the next ones? Challenge your brain. Start with 65. And then D, start with 90. So 90 is going to be your first number. Pause the video if you need more time to complete this. All right, we're at 65, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. And our last one, start with 90. 90, 95, 100, 105, 110. Excellent. We're going to complete the bottom. It starts with 3. It says, count backwards by 5 to fill in the missing numbers. So far, we've had a lot of success counting forwards by 5s. Counting backwards is a little bit trickier. I want to do the first one with you. It starts with 100. I know I'm counting backwards because I know I'm skipping down to 90 in another spot. So 100, 95, 90, 85, 80. Start with 50. Go ahead and try it on your own. Pause the video. All right, did you get 50, 45, 40, 35, 30? Last one in this section, counting backwards. Start with 90. 90 is my first number. Go ahead and try it on your own. Pause if you need more time. 90, 85, 80, 75, and 70. All right, here's the challenge problem. We're going to work through it together. It says Hansel and Gretel know it will take a lot of pine cones to mark the 5th step between every 2 pebbles on the trail. How many pine cones will they need to mark the trail from 0 to 100? It says I could use a sketch of numbers or words to help me figure it out. I'm going to show my work, and then I'm going to write my answer down here at the very bottom where this line is. All right, friends, I want you to try this on your own. Show me what a path would look like from 0 all the way up to 100. How many pine cones would you need? Pause the video so you can make your drawing. All right, I know that you're showing me all kinds of different strategies. Here's the strategy that I want to use today. It could be the same strategy you used, or it could be a different strategy. I'm going to do a number line. And I'm going to say at the beginning of my number line is 0, and at the end of the number line is 100. If you have any space left, go ahead and make a number line also. I'm going to put 50 in the middle. This is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40. These would be my pebbles. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. But now here's the question, first graders. They want to know how many pine cones we need. So I'm going to grab a different color just for myself so you can see it very clearly. My pine cones are multiples that end in 5. So I would need 1 pine cone here. This would be 5. Another pine cone here. This would be 15. Another pine cone here. 25. 35. 45. 55. 65. 75. 85. 95. I need to count how many pine cones I placed on this path. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm wondering if you were also successful in figuring out that you need 10 pine cones on a path that goes from 0 to 100. All right, first graders, I'll see you for the next video very soon. We will be continuing working with Hansel and Gretel as they make their way along the paths. Bye, friends.